Hello and welcome to Rough Diamond, our low production video update for pension trustees and employers and what the pensions industry is talking about at the moment. Today we're going to be talking about DC. We've already done a blog on this particular subject, so if you'd like to know more, then have a look at that. In the middle of October, the DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions, published the next stage in their Quality Standards Agenda, a paper called Better Workplace Pensions, Putting Savers' Interests First. This paper significantly raises the bar for DC pension schemes in a number of different ways. It's proposed to be effective by next April, but is subject to parliamentary process. It's unlikely to change significantly between now and then. Most DC pension schemes will have to comply with it. There are a few exemptions, particularly for small schemes. The two standout exemptions, however, for most of us, are that these conditions won't apply to AVCs held within defined benefit pension schemes, nor will they apply where there's a third party providing a guarantee, for example a guaranteed annuity rate. The regs will cover a number of areas. First of all, some rules around default investment funds. Firstly, and it sounds obvious, but this is what they're going to say, default investment funds will have to be designed with the members' interests in mind. Trustees will have to produce a written statement setting out the aims and objectives of their default investment strategy and how it's designed with the members' interests in mind. In arriving at their aims, the trustees will need to reference costs and the risk profile of the particular group of members. The written statement will have to be made publicly available and will be part of a new annual report, about which more in a moment. The default investment strategy will be reviewable at least every 3 years or more frequently if there are other events going on. And a feature of that 3-yearly review will be that the net performance will be considered. There'll be new regulations on core financial transactions which will have to be processed correctly and promptly. There'll be new regulations requiring trustees to consider value for money. That's a comparison of cost versus benefit, but the regulations also set out that there should be an external comparison. That value for money consideration should cover charges and also transaction costs. Now there's going to be a lot more on transaction costs during the course of 2015, so this is going to be a key area for trustees. There are going to be new regulations requiring trusts, DC trusts, to have a chairman of trustees. And that chairman of trustees is going to have a new duty to produce an annual report which is going to have to set out a number of things that we've already talked about and a few things that we've still got to talk about. There's going to be new regulations requiring that there is a self-assessment of the trustees. And they'll have to judge collectively whether they have the knowledge and understanding necessary in order to exercise good governance. There'll be new regulations prohibiting trusteedom rules tying trustees to one particular investment provider or administration provider. In future, the trustees are to have an unfettered ability to hire and fire. And that's going to be an overriding provision, so it doesn't matter what the trusteedom rules say, that's what they're going to be able to do. And finally, there's going to be new regulations around the charge cap. The document from the DWP defines how the charge cap will work, but it says that it'll be the trustee's responsibility to ensure that the charge cap regulations are complied with. Not a provider, not an insurance company, not an administrator. It'll be the trustee's responsibility to comply with this. There are additional specific requirements that will apply to what are called DC Master Trust collective schemes. But the ones I've talked about so far, they'll all apply to all DC trusts. So suddenly the bar has been raised, a significant amount of additional work. If you'd like to know more, then by all means please read our blog. If we haven't covered something, or if you've got any questions, then email us at info@ptluk.com. Thanks for listening in. Bye for now.